workouts in. It's class, it's treatment, it's prep, it's meetings, it's practice, it's post-practice. I mean, it's study hall. It's a lot, and you're away from home. I mean, and then sometimes it's injury, or maybe you're having a great freshman year and and that's great, but man, that can be overwhelming too. Or you're a guy that's redshirt and not playing, and that's overwhelming too, because it's the first time you really, you're like a man without a country, right? These kids have never really been in that situation, so it's a lot on them mentally, and that's why we really pour a lot of resources into these guys and try to really stay connected to them and help them and identify guys that need, we got to make sure we keep our arms around them, because it's a lot. So I think the break is good for everyone, but especially those guys. Maybe it's a chance to get home, or just kind of catch their breath and just break the monotony of what you're doing, and maybe take a look at the big picture and evaluate where you are, and then reset.
Coach, was Robert kicking field goals again last week?
Yeah, he's back. Yeah. So it's good to see him back out there, because again, I hadn't seen him kick a field goal in a few weeks. So he's back out, and he actually started last Wednesday, I think. It was the first time they started letting him kick again, field goals. So good to see him back out there, and hopefully we'll be able to create a little competition there and have a little more confidence moving forward.
Coach, you played a night game down there at Hard Rock last January. How much does having a little familiarity with the environment help?
I mean, I think it's good. Something in my contact. I don't know what it is. I think it's good for the guys that have been there. I mean, it's fun to be able to play in a pro stadium. I think guys always enjoy that. It's always a little different with the way the numbers are, kind of from an alignment standpoint. But I think anytime you've been somewhere, there's definitely a positive to it. But we got a lot of guys that haven't been there. But I think anytime you can go down there, it's a beautiful place. It's a fun environment. But again, anytime you can play in a pro stadium, I think it's something that the guys, they see the Dolphins playing all the time, and it's just like when we go up to Charlotte and we get a chance to play in that stadium. It's just a neat environment. Going to Atlanta last year, those are just, again, these are young people that have dreamed of playing college football, and a lot of them dream of playing pro football, and now you're getting a chance to do something that you love to do, and you're getting to do it. You're getting to get on a plane and fly and stay at a nice hotel, and not everybody gets to do that across college football. So we're really blessed here at Clemson. And then you get the chance to play in this pro stadium where a lot of the best of the best play. So I think it's something that they all look forward to. But we're going to play well on the road. Obviously, we've got a couple road games coming up, and that's cool. We're going to have to play well to have the type of finish that we want to have.
I guess speaking of Miami, Will Barnes is one of the guys that went down with you guys during bowl prep. What kind of tangible difference do you feel like that made for him in terms of his progression from that to the spring to where he is now?
We had Shelton, Khalil,
Burley,
Ian,
Burley, I think.
Burley,
Yep.
maybe Burley. We had a few go down there, and I don't know. I just think it maybe accelerated their familiarity with the team, and just being able to just be around some practice tempo and things like that was good for them. They were limited a little bit in what they couldn't do, but regardless of had he come in for the bowl prep or not, it wouldn't have made any difference. He's a baller. He could have showed up in June and he'd have been just fine. Like Tyler Brown. He wasn't here in January, so I think it helps some guys, and some guys, regardless of whether they come in January or June, they're going to need a little more time to get ready.
What is it about him as a football player? Is it just football IQ, or is it just something about his work ethic? What does it allow him to do?
Well, first of all, physically he's gifted. I mean, he's not an immature body, physical body. I mean, he's physically a pretty mature kid. That helps him for his position, and then it's definitely his football IQ. He's very smart. He understands the game. he came in here with a great foundation. He processes things well. He could really play 3 positions for us, and there's not many guys that come in right away that can do that. And so that's what makes him unique. And then it's the things you can't see. You know, you can see him run and jump and all that, but it's just who he is as a person. It's how he thinks. It's his heart. It's how he prepares. It's his love of the game. Those are things that are harder to see, but those are the things that's what accentuates the physical maturity that he has and the skill set that he has. I mean, he's got the mindset and the heart set to go with the skill set, if that makes sense.
This past weekend was a fun one to watch, college football, and
Wow.
got teams blowing 29-point leads and just crazy stuff everywhere. As you're watching film, is there maybe more parity across the game than you've seen in the past?
Probably. I mean, I can't really quantify that in my mind. I mean, I think it's like I don't know what the word I'm looking for, recent memory bias. I don't know what that is. It's just
Recency bias.
There you go. It's just kind of what's happening right now. It's kind of fresh on your mind. But I mean, I think college football's always been really competitive. I mean, as long as I've been in it, 13 years at Alabama. I mean, every single week, I mean, it was a battle every week. You know, and then all my years here, it's every week, it's a battle. And I've never felt like we couldn't win, ever. But I've also always had respect for every single opponent. But I think it just kind of ebbs and flows and goes in cycles. But you know, it seems that way. I don't really know how to quantify that, but it seems like for whatever reason, you know, this is a year where it's just really, really competitive and across the board. Everybody seems to have good players and good coaches, and it plays out on Saturday. There's a lot of good games, a lot of crazy games, a lot of crazy stuff has happened this year in college football, whether it be coaching or players or whatever. I mean, just crazy stuff. Penalties. I mean, the West Virginia-Houston game, you got to be kidding me. I mean, insane. I mean, it's crazy. But that's college football.
How much did you get to watch of this past weekend?
Yeah, I watched it. That's all I did. I mean, that's what I was saying last night. I mean, like, we're a crazy, sick profession. You know, who does that, right? You get a weekend off, and what do? You do your job. All you know, I was making be like the accountant who goes and watches everybody prepare tax returns all weekend on his off weekend, right? Like, who does that? I think that's what drives all of us in college football. I mean, you know, we're all a little crazy. We love it. We love the competition. I just like learning. I learn so much, you know, watching other people, whether it be, you know, plays, you know, how, you know, how things are managed, clock management, whatever. I learn a lot, you know, from watching other people and just how they respond. So it's fun. I mean, but it's unique that way. I think as players and coaches that, you know, we love it. Love to watch it. I like being a part of it more, but it's fun to be able to watch others too.
Coach, you've always placed a big emphasis on the middle eight.
Watch Notre Dame Pitt too, Tim. I mean Southern Cal, not Pitt. Louisville Pitt, Notre Dame Southern Cal. Watch that one too. And here you go. Here's probably the best player in the country, right? I mean, that kid is. I mean, he's probably going to be the first pick in the draft, or you know, one of the top couple. And I don't know how many turnovers they have. And but there's no greater equalizer, right, than that ball and turnovers. So you know, it's crazy things can happen. They certainly can. But saw a lot of good games.
You emphasize the middle eight. It's probably even more important on the road. Just looking back on the first half of the season, self-scouting, how do you think you've done there?
When we won the middle eight, we're undefeated. So with the two we lost, we didn't win the middle eight. So I mean, but all the other indicators of winning we've done. And I mean, you name it, across the board, except for one thing, and that's turnover margin. And we win the turnover margin around here. We're about 98%, something like that, 96, 98% winning. And when we lose it, like last week, we still can win, but we only win about 60-something% of the time, which is really good for losing the turnover margin. If you look at most people losing the turnover margin, they're probably down in the 40s or less.
you took on some of your fan base last night, apparently, on your radio show. And how does that make you feel when, you know, you look at your overall success, yet this year you're not meeting those numbers of, in terms of the records of previous years, and you got some people complaining publicly about it? Does that change your feeling about the fan base? Do you feel like you're opening yourself up for criticism from them by calling them out for not being satisfied at 4-2, and maybe being somewhat spoiled by all the success you've had over the last 10 years?
I don't think anybody's satisfied at being 4-2. We're never satisfied. I mean, you know, just kind of where we are, you know, but I assume you're talking about the guy who called in and was, you know, complaining about whoever he works with, and I just, you know, I guess nobody has a sense of humor anymore around here, but that's just kind of where we live in. But no, our fans are awesome. I mean, 98.5% of our fans are amazing. I mean, I've been here it's my 21st year, so I mean, literally 98.5% are amazing. But we got 1.5% that they're with you win or win, and you know, and so I was trying to, I don't even know who I was talking to, pep them up a little bit. You know, a little adversity in this world is sometimes good, you know, because for a couple reasons. I think sometimes you can win so much you lose appreciation for the blessing. That's just a reality, and it's hard to win. It's freaking hard to win, and to win consistently is almost impossible. So people don't understand that. I can't help them, but I just made the comment of, you know, a little adversity along the way. You hate it, but the one positive is it makes you grow, but you also learn kind of who's with you, and that's a good thing. That's good. So I love our fans. I think we got, again, 98.5% of them are amazing, but the other 1.5%, they create a lot of the problems. They're part of the problem, not part of the solution. But that's everywhere. You always have. I mean, that's what social media does. It gives a loud voice for a minority of people that want to complain about something. And you know, criticism. I mean,